You know the words to Psalm 23, right? Most of us do. They feel like a warm, familiar blanket. But here's the thing about things that are too familiar. Sometimes we miss just how deep they really are. We're going to look at how this ancient psalm is actually an incredible map, not just for the person who's sick, but for the one walking right there with them.
See, when you are walking alongside a loved one through something like ALS, these words, they completely change. They stop being just beautiful poetry and they become something intensely practical. It's like they lift off the page and become a map for a journey you never, ever planned on taking.
So who do we usually think this is for? The person in the bed, right? The one who's facing their own mortality. And of course it is for them. But what if that's only half the story? What if there's a whole other person this was meant for, and we've kind of been overlooking them?
And this is the whole point we're getting at today. This map, it's also for you, the caregiver, the partner, the child, the friend. It's a guide to help you make sense of your own journey, your own losses, and your incredibly important role in all of this.
You know, when a diagnosis like ALS comes into a family, it's not like a targeted missile that only hits one person. It's more like an earthquake that reshapes the entire landscape for everyone. And before you know it, you realize, wait a minute, I'm in the valley too. Your journey is just as real, and it absolutely deserves to be seen.
And being in that valley brings its own set of unspoken griefs. It's not just about a loss that's way off in the future. It's about what you're losing right now. The future you two had all planned out. The simple ease of a normal day. That feeling of being in control. And maybe the toughest one, the belief that you can fix things. These are real losses, and it is perfectly, profoundly human to grieve them. Okay, so how do you navigate this valley? Well, the psalm gives us this huge clue, hidden in a small but powerful word, walk. It says, even though I walk through the valley. Now think about that. Walking isn't being stuck. It's not being trapped in one place. It implies movement. It implies that this is a process, a journey over time.
And what does walking mean in this context? Well, it's not a frantic sprint. It's not one single heroic act. It's the quiet, steady discipline of just showing up. Today, and then tomorrow, and the day after that. It's about constancy, not intensity. It's about endurance, not just a big burst of effort.
This requires a huge mental shift for most of us, right? Our instinct is to sprint, to fix it, to make the pain go away. But the calling of a caregiver is just different. It's to walk, to accompany, to endure. It completely reorients what it even means to help.
And then there's another little word that changes everything. Through. It says you're moving through the valley. You don't set up camp there. This is not your new permanent address. This whole experience, no matter how long and how hard it is a passage. It's not the final destination. And that single idea, that's a quiet but powerful form of hope.
You know, one of the most powerful things about this psalm is that it doesn't sugarcoat anything. It calls it what it is, the valley of the shadow of death. I mean, it doesn't get more real than that. And there is so much courage in just naming the scary thing. Pretending it isn't happening, that doesn't protect you. It just isolates you.
And let's just be honest, if you're in this role, you are going to feel fear. That is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you love someone deeply. The fear of what's coming, the fear of making a mistake, the fear that you aren't enough for this, and of course the fear of that final loss, those fears are real, and they're a valid part of this journey.
So what do we do with that famous line, I will fear no evil? Well, it's not a command to stop being afraid. It's not about the absence of fear. It's a declaration of who's in charge. It's like saying, okay, fear, you can be in the car with me on this trip, but you absolutely do not get to drive. It acknowledges fear's presence, but refuses to give it the last word.
Okay, so all of this brings us to the very heart of the Psalm's message for caregivers. And it's a huge pivot. It's a move away from the pressure to provide solutions and toward the quiet power of just providing presence.
In a situation where almost everything feels out of your control, it's so easy to feel like you've failed because you can't fix it. But this psalm gives you a profound release from that impossible burden. Let this sink in. You are not required to rescue.
Instead of rescue, your role gets completely reframed. You are called to accompany, to be a witness, to walk alongside. This changes everything. The goal is no longer to change the outcome, but to change the experience of the journey itself.
And honestly, sometimes the hardest thing to believe is that your presence, just you being there, quiet, steady, not anxious, that's not a small thing. In fact, it's the most powerful form of care you can possibly offer. It is enough.
So this all leads to the quiet courage it takes just to stay put, and to a whole new definition of what it really means to help someone who's in the valley. Helping is no longer about fixing the unfixable. It's about this quieter but far more meaningful work. It's making someone comfortable. It's fiercely protecting their dignity. It's supporting their choices, even if you disagree. And it's simply being that one steady, reliable presence in the middle of a storm.
Ultimately, your job isn't to get rid of the valley. You can't. It's an impossible task. Your sacred role is to make absolutely sure they don't have to walk through it alone.
And please, never think that this role, the role of just being with, is a consolation prize. It's not second best to fixing it. No way. It is a profound, powerful, and absolutely sacred act of love.
So that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. In a world that is obsessed with action and solutions and quick fixes, what does it truly mean to offer someone the quiet, courageous gift of our presence? Answering that for ourselves, well, that might be one of the most important things any of us will ever do.